Wow. So, restarting, I wanted to talk today, it's Financial Friday Tidbit, about why if we say something is important, we may not actually be doing it already. Because you would think that we would be, right? If we say, I want to save for retirement, I want to get more healthy, I want to, whatever it is, we would think that if we say that it's important, that we would actually already be doing it. And we know for a fact that that's not always the case, right? So as I started to say outside, and I lost internet out there, don't even get me started on what's going on. It's so noisy here. It's so noisy. I got really spoiled and used to being in very quiet Nebraska. I could be anywhere in my house. I could be anywhere outside. It would be pretty quiet, and I would be able to do my live stream, do whatever it was I was trying to do. I haven't found that place here just yet. I'm sure it exists. I don't know where it is. It's not in my house. My husband is working from home, and it is not very quiet in this house, so I can't really find a place to go where he can be talking in one meeting and I can be talking in another. It's loud. And the grandfather clock is going off every 15 minutes. Chime, 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 chime. Kind of pretty, except when you're trying to talk and you can't actually hear. Can't go outside because I lose my internet connection and the dogs are barking. So anyway, it's all good. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. Sounds like I'm complaining. Um, but, but if we say that something is important, why aren't we already doing it? Doesn't mean that, we will always find a way to do it if it's important. I don't buy into that whatsoever. This stream is important to me. I don't always have the ability to show up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday like I'd like to, because guess what? There's other important things that are going on too. I have a class that's coming up, or I had a class on Wednesday. That's why I wasn't here on Wednesday. It's important to me to get my exercise in, but sometimes we're in the middle of a move and I might not be able to do it that day, as important as it is to me. It's important for me to stay connected with my friends. Yet, sometimes I have other things going on. I had a girlfriend send me a message just the other day. There were several of us on the message and said, hey, can we hop onto a Zoom? No, please. For the love, don't make me go into another Zoom call. I'm doing that all day long, every single day. As much as I love these girls, okay, the last thing that I want to do is to hop into yet another virtual room and hang out. I'm just full. I'm just tired. Do you hear me? Like, is anybody else feeling this? Is it just me? So, yes, all of this stuff is important, but it doesn't mean that it's always happening. So, I wrote a blog this morning, and I'll be posting that in the comments below that feeds into this as well. If we say it's important, but we're not doing it, then the question becomes, why are we not doing it? And if it's really important to us, if it's really something that we want to do, then how are we going to find a way to make the time to do it? I'm doing a live stream, standing out back with internet, streaming from my phone into my laptop because that's all I had last week when we were in the middle of a move. Today I start one stream outside. Doesn't work. I have to move inside. So we find a way to make it work if it's really something that we want to do. So there are 5 steps in that blog. And again, I'll post a link below. But the number one thing that I have there is to evaluate why we really are saying that we want to do something. It's okay for me to say, I want to get healthy. All right. Why? Why do we want to get healthy? We want to get healthy because we want to have a better quality of life. We want to get healthy because we want to be able to take care of ourselves instead of having somebody else take care of us when we get older. We want to save for retirement. Why? Because we want to be self-sufficient, because we want to know that we have enough money to be able to live on and to be able to live the lives that we want to live. You see the difference there. Not just saying I want to save for retirement, but understanding why that is important to me will help me to make better goals to actually accomplish that. Because then if I say, here's why, I want to live for a long time after I retire, and I want to live in the way that I choose, and I want to be able to afford a certain quality of life. By saying that versus just, I want to save for retirement, then when I don't feel like it, or when I'm distracted, or when there's all of these other things that are magically appearing in my Facebook stream because I talked about them yesterday and today, here they are, I can go and buy them. When that stuff happens, if I understand why I'm setting that other goal, then I am much more likely to stick to it. So that's the number one thing, is just like doing a little bit of an analysis, really, to go, okay, I've always wanted to save for retirement, but I have not yet found a way to make myself do that. Why? There's some reason why you're having a hard time with that. And you've got to identify what that reason is so that you can then identify the trigger that might lead you down the other path. I want to save for retirement. That's important, but it's really easy for me to spend my paycheck on Amazon or to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff that I really didn't even want anyway, but it was put in front of my face. And so with that impulse buy, I went ahead and did it. I've got to identify why it's important, and then what are the triggers that are distracting me from being able to accomplish that goal that I've said that's really important, and maybe sitting down to go, okay, this is what I want to do, but here's something that's always pulling me in the other direction. Okay, it's always happening. That means it's going to happen again. So when it does happen next time, what am I going to do about it? Like, how am I going to prepare myself so the next time it happens and the next time it happens, I don't continue to go down that same rabbit trail that I have in the past and not reach my goals and not be successful in what I'm attempting to do. So number one is establishing why you say you want to do this thing and why aren't you doing it right now. Number two is setting out 10 minutes for yourself, just 10, nothing crazy. Setting out 10 minutes for yourself first thing in the morning when you set your intention for the day. And I'm not talking about the to-do list. Trust me, we have that, right? I've got to-do notebooks, no lie. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about getting up in the morning, spending 10 minutes in the quiet, if you can find some. Still looking. If you can find some quiet to actually just stop and say, here's what I want to accomplish today. Here's how I want to feel about today. Here's what I want to do today, but also how I'm going to do it, and keep some level of sanity. You don't control a lot of things in your day. Even though these things are important, so is this and this and this and this and that and this and something else. And especially, as you're having external forces and external people that are bringing their priorities into your day. That happens. So 10 minutes in the morning to go, this is what I'm going to accomplish today, and this is how I'm going to get all of that done. Then the third thing is actually following through. We reach our goals, we accomplish everything by one decision at a time. One decision at a time. Looking at that big end story of going, I want to have X dollars by the time I retire in 20 years is awesome, but it's a little bit too much. And you don't get there by just looking at that one big goal. You get there by today saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, I want this thing, but I'm not going to buy it right now. I'm going to put that on a list somewhere, and I'll look at it in 2 weeks. I'll look at it in a month. If I still feel strongly about it, if I still want it, maybe I'll go out and get it right then. That's different too. I'm not saying I can't have it. I'm saying I'm not going to have it right this second because I'm focusing on this other goal. You see, that one decision. Now, tomorrow, maybe I'm not going to make that same great decision. Maybe I'm going to end up falling into the trap of buying something that I didn't really need. But this one decision, I was successful in that. And the next one, I make another decision. And the next one, I make another decision. And it is one step at a time, one decision at a time that gets you to that end goal. And it's a whole lot less overwhelming than looking at your 20-year commitment going forward. Make a decision right now, this second. Right now, I am going to go for a walk. I don't care how busy I am, I'm going to take a break. I am going to get in my exercise. I am going to go get myself a glass of water and have some hydration. I don't care what happens the rest of the day. I did that. I'm saving us $5. I did that. So important for that time in the morning, Nicole, right? And it's important to protect that at all costs. And I've done it even with my grandchildren. My grandchildren are quite young. I mean, they run from age 3 to age 13, but they know that when I get up in the morning, I need a minute. I need a couple of minutes. And actually, I've heard the 13-year-old say to his brothers and sisters, and they were 7 at the time, this is grandma time. Right. It's only 10 minutes. It's grandma time. I don't want to talk. I don't want to hang out. We can do that in 10 minutes. But right now, I'm focusing on what I'm going to accomplish today. And I have made that such a priority that even my grandchildren know that that's what I'm doing. And how wonderful for them to maybe develop that into their own habit as they're going forward as well. So important, Nicole. Thank you for that validation, for sure. The next thing, though, is going to be another 10 minutes. Setting that 10-minute intention in the morning is important, but also setting a 10-minute time at the end of the day where a friend of mine calls this counting wins, where you can actually count your wins. This is not a gratitude journal where you're saying, I'm thankful for this and this and this. And that's good and that's okay. I'm not at all saying that gratitude is bad. No. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reviewing your day and counting your wins. What did you accomplish today that you had set as an intention for yourself in the beginning? It can be tiny. Today, when this person spoke to me in a way that I didn't like, I stood up for myself, or I was respectful in how I addressed that, or, I didn't spend that $2.50 for whatever it was. It can be small, it can be big, but what did you accomplish today that you're proud of, that went the way that you wanted it to? And the other side of that is what didn't, right? Did something come up today and you didn't respond in the way that you would like? Okay, so what triggered that? Why was that? What would you like to be different the next time that situation happens? And why don't you think about how you're going to address it the next time? Again, that's all about being prepared so that the next time it happens, it doesn't throw you off. Counting wins is so important. You do, Nicole. Yeah. It's so important for both of you, for all of us, right? And yes, it's important. That's what I can say. Like, I've actually carved out time. When we were in the middle of the move last week, in the house, boxes everywhere, I went into the walk-in closet and shut the door. I'm in here. I'm fine. Everything's good. But I just need some personal space, and I need a couple of minutes to be able to gather my thoughts and figure out what I'm doing. It's so, so, so important. You need to respect it for yourself. You need to respect it for your husband, too. Yeah. So then the next thing is to review, recalibrate, and recommit. So if I'm looking at everything once a day, I've got my 10 minutes in the morning, my 10 minutes at night, then it's also important for me after 30 days to sit down and look at what I've written, okay? Then I recalibrate. I go, okay, this is what I said I wanted. This is not working. So there's some reason. What is that? Or maybe that wasn't really a goal. Maybe that was a dream. Maybe that was some big lofty idea, but I didn't actually set it as a goal that was accomplishable. And that's important, right? When I'm reviewing this, here's what I'm talking about. If I'm saying that I want to save for retirement, that's not a goal. That's a wish. It's much better for me to say, I am going to set a budget and I'm going to follow this for 1 week, for 2 weeks. I'm going to put myself on a spending diet for the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to buy anything except for pay my essentials, but I'm not going to do any kind of discretionary spending, or I'm going to do that for a month. Or I am going to go into payroll today and I am going to increase the amount that I am contributing to my 401k by 1%, by $10, by whatever it is. You see, those are goals. Those are things that I can actually do. Me saying, I want to lose weight is not a goal. That's a wish. It's better if I say, I am going to have vegetables with at least 2 of my meals tomorrow. I'm going to have protein with all 3 of my meals tomorrow. I am going to drink 4 glasses of water. You see the difference? Those are things that you can actually do. You can't drive the outcome necessarily, but you can drive every single step that leads to the outcome that you're looking for and turn that wish into an actual actionable goal. That's different. Now, you're reviewing at the end of the month, 20 minutes. Again, don't make it so stressful on yourself that you're not going to do it. 20 minutes. Put some coffee in your Baileys that day. Or, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Put some coffee in your Baileys that day and sit down and look at it. But you review, you recalibrate to go, okay, you know what? Nope, I'm going to go in this direction for a little while because that isn't working. And then recommit to what your goals are and do the whole thing again and again and again. And that's how we accomplish things, right? It isn't just one and done. None of it. You've got to look at it once in a while, see if it's working, and determine what isn't working, and then recalibrate. Just like the GPS does. My GPS does it a lot. A lot. Okay, so that's what I wanted to bring to you today. Just getting you to think about what is important and why you say it's important, and maybe look a little differently at how you're going to actually accomplish the goals that you're setting out. Good morning, Rob. I'm glad to see you here today. Does it make sense? Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments about it? I would love to hear from you. I'm going to just hang out for a couple of minutes. You know, I was trying to decide this morning what I was going to talk about. Several of you are friends of mine on my personal page as well, and if you are, you know that it's our wedding anniversary. Today is 26 years, and so I was thinking, well, I could talk about our wedding because that too had a lot to do with finances and a lot to do with our why. Both Brent and I came from families that didn't have a whole lot of money. We wanted to get married. Some people spend a lot of money on their wedding, and that's absolutely okay. Again, what I think is that we should spend our own money on the things that are important to us. That's important. But we didn't care that much about a big fancy ceremony or about spending thousands of dollars or about taking out a loan and putting ourselves in debt as we started our new life together. It was super simple. I was working for an attorney at the time as a paralegal, and he had a boat, so we used his boat. He didn't charge us for that. We went out into the harbor. You know how much I love the water. We got married by a friend of mine. And then we went back to the Grange Hall. If you don't know what a Grange Hall is, I don't think that we do a lot with those anymore, but it's a small community meeting place. We lived in a very small town, and so I rented this for a really affordable price. All of our friends showed up. It was a giant potluck. We didn't pay to have it catered. Everybody brought something, and we had such an amazing time. One of Brent's brothers was a photographer. One of Brent's brothers did the sound system and played music for us. I made my own dress. I made my daughter's dress. It was beautiful, but it didn't cost us a whole lot of money. And again, that's not a judgment call. If you want to spend money on your wedding, by all means, that's absolutely okay. We all should be spending on what we think is important. To me, that big, expensive ceremony wasn't important. Being with my family, being with my friends, and actually getting married to my husband was what was important at the time. And that has worked out. It's worked out really well. Thanks, Rob, for the happy anniversary. Thank you. Spending money on a big wedding was a big thing when I was younger. These days, not so much. Yeah, I think there has been a shift for sure. And I don't know if it's necessarily that we're looking at what's truly important, or if we've just changed as a society as far as culture goes and what we're spending money on. Absolutely. Yes. And Nicole says, I find it awkward when you're invited to a posh wedding and there are no affordable gifts on the registry. For sure. Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, when you think about it too, like, what is that celebration really for? For most of us, it is to be able to celebrate love with the people that we care most about, right? It's not, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's not about getting really expensive gifts and spending just as much money as we can and all of that kind of stuff. Sure, having a really nice lavish party, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun. But what's the intent behind it? I say save the money for the things that are long term, like a house or an investment that will pay off. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Again, no judgment, whatever. People spend their money on what they want to. That's fine. I'm just saying, if we're identifying that our goal is to save money for this or this or that or something else, then it's really hard for us to do that if we are spending money over here for something that we don't necessarily care that much about. Thanks, Nicole. Dad equals dad. Yeah, that's nice, Rob. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Oh, mom and dad. I see what you're doing. Okay, okay. I didn't see that first comment, and it just said on my screen, "add equals dad." I'm like, what does that mean? Mom and dad had their reception at the basement of the church where they got married. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Okay, I am gonna hop off here. I'm sorry for the double start this morning and for a little bit of the craziness to get started. Maybe I need to go put some coffee in my Baileys. I don't know. I hope you have an amazing day. I really, really do. I hope that you have a great weekend, that you take care of yourself, you're safe. I'll be here Monday to talk about questions from the classroom. Yeah, and they didn't have to, Rob, right? How long have your parents been married? I'm just waiting for that to come up because there's a slight delay, it seems like, before the comments are coming in. I know they've been married for a good amount of time. I remember seeing that not too long ago, but I just can't remember off the top of my head how long it was. 55 years this year. That's awesome. That's really incredible. All right. I will see you here on Monday. Take care, my friends. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.